Poetra Santiwa. And I can. Switch and smile. Get a loan of up to 450,000 cedis from Fidelity Bank. Get rewarded. Switch your existing salary loan to us or get a new personal loan and enjoy the lowest fixed interest rate, repayment holiday option, guaranteed fixed monthly repayment installments. Don't miss out on this offer. Call 0800 003355 or walk into any of our branches today and let's help you achieve that dream. Total AFCON 2013 is happening live. Total Energies is bringing you 2 big games today. Drive to any of our selected stations, win instant prizes, amazing branded souvenirs. Let's celebrate the passion of football together and win lots of gifts during the 2023 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. Promo valid while stocks last. Visit our social media pages at Total Energies GH for more information. Richard Delaska is here.
Hey, my man.
He's here.
Hey, my man.
He's here.
My man.
He's here. My man. He's here.
I love
Yes.
Somebody is having diarrhea this morning because he heard of that on the radio. Yes.
Oh man.
This one, man. Yeah, I beat to Paja Makosu. Shall I go on? Let's do this. Nathan is here.
The thing take Nathan by surprise. By surprise, yeah. When I meet Sky, we have some things we do.
Yeah, it's important.
We just do it.
It's important.
Yeah, it's
important. Yeah. Charlie, today, Bawizi say he's going to address the people.
You know, if you want to know the state of the economy,
the daily graphic, the daily graphic weight index.
You know, we did the Kinky index.
Yes.
I'm assembling a group of economists to do the daily graphic index.
Powerful.
Now, it is the closest approximation to business reality.
It's true. Oh, it's true.
Now, when Ghana was doing well, graphic even had 96 pages. I've seen graphic with 120 pages.
Allah, pull out, advertorial,
Today, the graphic, you know. The graphic, it has when you put it on the scale, it's 32 pages.
The scale will not even move.
What's the name of the graphics CEO? What's the name of Atu something? What's the graphic CEO?
Oh, I'm sure we'll check it.
Charlie, what is happening with graphic? Graphic get plenty money there. The paper is light. You know, it's like paper has been doing fast. You know, when we do the 31st night, they do 21-day fast.
Yes.
Graphic and 21-day fasting. What light?
Allah. Things are kind of
lean in the side to glory.
Yes.
So the lean graphic front page.
Sorry.
Charlie Atuafu. Good morning.
Rent scheme benefits 1,492 tenants. I tell you, 19 million cedis disbursed to 6 regions. That's according to the housing Minister Francis Asenso-Boakye. Government Chinese forged infrastructure delivery partnership, and the Public Accounts Committee orders MOFA to pay bird flu affected farmers. Plus, University Union strike over unresolved grievances. And on the back page, today is a big day in the AFCON. Is the last 4. They say South Africa eye revenge against Nigeria. The other question: elephants to continue roller coaster ride. The 2 semi-finals are in sharp focus.
Okay, so let me take you to the new finder. The big story talks about Ghana being the best for mining, according to John, Abu Jinapor, who is the minister responsible for the sector, making a compelling case, according to the paper, to investors. Also, on the front page this morning, heads of state institutions to be hauled before Parliament following a change in how the standing orders of Parliament look. Also, this morning we are told about efforts being made to deal with diseases within the cocoa sector. The chief executive of Cocoa Board is here on the front page, Joseph Boahin Edu. And then some other stories here on the front page, including FOMADEG demanding withdrawal of emission levy.
The Daily Guide says MPs recite national pledge And there's a picture of the Right Honorable Alban Badman, who's the Speaker of the House there. Other stories: excessive partisanship kills democracy, again from the Speaker, Alban Badman. Kaswa murder, I have no idea how victim died. That's the accused who's speaking. And 7 killed in Amasaman in Sawam road accident. Plus, on a lighter side, if you like, forgive them. They don't know the power of love. Court tells Professor Phoebe.
Oh, Charlie.
You mean the court has consummated his marriage?
Yes.
But I want to take something small. Sisters are not happy.
Wants to- Why somebody took his marriage to court?
Yeah. There was a bit of a legal hurdle.
Yeah.
Some people wanted to stop the marriage from going.
Why?
I'll
Because
give
he
you
said
the
that he
full-
was too old and the lady was in the 30s, and that, he may not have taken the right decision, and that he may not have been properly constituted to take the decision. Then the court
court says no. They don't understand law.
This one long way. Yeah. Now, the Ghanaian Times talks about the accident you spoke about. Gory accident on the Accra-Pokwasi highway. Terrible thing. And they're talking about that this morning on the front page. Also, trial of former Cecilia Dapa's house help adjourned to March the 8th. Also, National Rental Assistance Scheme, government disburses 19 million Ghana cedis to 1,492 beneficiaries. And the Minister for the Sector, Assessor Boache, is here on the front page. And a Pais Regional Minister fumes over shoddy work, snail pace of execution of projects within his space, and is threatening to abrogate contracts in the region.
All right, the Herald says Baumia boys worried over government unpopular policies but confident. So there's a picture of the vice president and 6 other gentlemen who are said to be in his camp. Other stories: Attorney General star witness exposed by hiding Craig letter at Cocobot trial. Esla Owusu's $150 million Airtel Tigo sale to British National under scrutiny. That's according to the Herald. Plus, we are also representing here Citi FM, Citi TV, hand over resettlement centers. Yeah.
Let me take you to the Daily Analyst. The big story: protecting journalists. Stay away from Farouk Mahama. GJA and Giba, Primpag and MFWA are hitting the Yendi MP with media blackout. Events happening in Accra yesterday. Also, MPs to recite national pledge, as you stated, to undergo roll call in new standing orders. And then NDC has the men to fix Akufo-Addo's mess, according to former President John Dramani Mahama, who is seeking re-election to the presidency. And Cheddar, Miss GJ executive, says he has a purpose for Ghana. Which purpose he's been telling Bernard Avle about?
Okay, the Ghanaian publisher's biggest story is Ghana awaits Baumia's next chapter. So that's the big one there. Other stories: IMF advises Ghana to stick to $3 billion loan plan. And Banda MP worried over declining experience in Parliament.
All right.
Okay, let me take you finally to the BNFT. The big story: rethink emissions levy. Dr. Matthew Manteo, is quoted here as saying, and he's citing loopholes in current structure. And then also Casapreco, Leshehu, liven up corporate bond market. And then also Lands Commission embarks on massive digitization, and they are increasing revenue by some 12%. And then Golden Star Resources plans some $1.2 million in investment for 9 CSR projects.
All right, finally from me, the Republic Press has the vice president here. It says Bamia breaks silence as Ghanaians anticipate economic solutions. EC's indelible ink proposal hangs as majority minority leaders reject move. And OPK is upset with the police over Kweu Bepong tension.
Online news, citynewsroom.com. Akufo-Addo to present State of Nation address February 27. My support for Ken must go contributed to my defeat. This is Nyaswotom MP Adomaku Kisi. In other stories, he says you need a minimum of 2 million cedis to contest parliamentary primaries.
Wowza.
Meanwhile, ACP Agojo alleges that Intiwu caused my woes. He initiated my arrest. He also says I never plotted to overthrow Akufo-Addo's government. And then there's a last interesting story. Amendments to anti-gay bill to be concluded by February 9. Chairman Sabosu says this. Now, if you go to GNA, Parliament's new standing orders, Speaker leads MPs to recite national pledge. He also is not happy with losing experienced MPs from both caucuses, says it's not good for Ghana. GJA to New Force Movement, prioritize welfare of journalists in your policies. Now, the other stories that are making the rounds: GJA Giba others blacklist Yendi MP for assault on Citi TV journalist. MyJoyOnline.com. Some of the stories, the ECOWAS lacks an understanding of the shifting forces in the sub-region. This is Professor Kwesi Enin. Meanwhile, SHS science students will no longer read core math and integrated science according to NACA. And then plot to remove IGP committee will not serve anyone's interest. Atachia says this. If you go to Star FM, the lead story, firing coaches won't fix Black Stars issues. Alban Bagwin. Students of every girls SHS dies in the eastern region. And Babin lament higher attrition rate in parliament. Class FM is leading with, I've assembled the best brains and talents to help Ghana escape poverty. This is Alan. And then Prim Park supports GJ's media blackout on Yendi MP. All of these stories and more making the rounds online. So where do you want to start from this morning?
Let's take off from the story surrounding the GJA.
Yes,
and
Farouk Mahama and all the things.
Yeah, exactly. The story is carried on the front page of the Daily Analyst for this morning. Stay away from Farouk Mahama. Now, following the incessant attacks on journalists by political actors, Mr. Albert Kwabena Jumfo has reiterated calls for journalists to stay away from both Hawa Kumsin and Farouk Aliu Mahama. Now, we do know that Mr. Jumfo is currently the president of the GJA. Now, this resolution reached is intended to safeguard media practitioners. At a joint press briefing yesterday at the International Press Center in Accra, Mr. Albert Jumfo recommended media houses walking the path by observing earlier blacklist decisions. Now, he, however, cautioned media houses and journalists going contrary to the call, adding, quote, "We live to see and time would tell." Now, explaining the GJA's decision, Mr. Jumfo said not only did the marauding thugs seeking a Citi FM journalist, were they seeking him to devour him, but they were also seeking to actually attack him. And the Honorable Farouk Aliu Mahama was the one who actually led the onslaught, according to the reports. Now, he recounted that the MP allegedly slapped and kicked the journalist, Alabira of Citi FM, for attempting to get a better glimpse of what has occurred between aggrieved parties at the
Meanwhile, Yendi's MP attack on Alabira Aminu, all we want is justice. Citi FM, Citi TV, management of the station has reaffirmed its commitment to seek justice for our Northern Regional correspondent, Mohamed Aminu Alabira, following the attack by MP for Yendi Farouk Mahama. Speaking at a joint news conference organized by GJA on Tuesday, the legal rep for Citi, Selom Adonu, explained that the organization will not relent in pursuing the matter and getting justice for the reporter. So those are the stories on the media. Let's come to the Daily Guide.
Well, talking about MPs, yesterday they were on the floor of Parliament and they were led to recite the national pledge by the Speaker. Now, the story says that they read that this was the time they reconvened in the House. Now, this was done after the Speaker, Right Honourable Alban Babin, conducted a roll call of all 275 MPs, and the development marked the start of the implementation of new standing orders approved by the House at its last meeting. And he, according to the Speaker, in consultation with the leadership, transitional processes have been put in place to help the House experience a seamless implementation of the new standing orders, of course, which include roll call and then reciting the national pledge.
Meanwhile, the Speaker is lamenting the loss of experienced MPs from the House. He says it will affect the quality of parliamentary business. This story is on the Ghana News Agency website. He basically says that the loss of experienced MPs in the House is not going to help us. And meanwhile, one of the MPs who will not come back,
Honorable Dixon
Agdomaku Kisi, has been speaking to Citi News. He says he lost his primary because he supported the Ken Must Go agenda. And he also says MPs need a minimum of 2 million cedis. People need 2 million cedis minimum to contest. Let's the story says MP for Anyaso Tom, Dr. Dixon Agdomaku Kisi, says the financial application involved in parliamentary elections requires a minimum of 2 million cedis to contest. He characterized this amount as an entrance fee with no direct impact on the election outcome. Despite his recent loss in the MPP primary to Elder Emmanuel Tobin, where he received 566 votes against Tobin's 818 out of 1,485 delegates, Dr. Adumaku Kisi noted that the financial burden in the electoral process was getting worse. Speaking to Marusana on Eyewitness News, he said anyone aspiring to become MP needed a minimum of 2 million cedis to contest in parliamentary primaries. I must say, as it stands now, I have close to 1,500 delegates. And in the future, if you intend to make an entrance for anybody, you need to have a minimum minimum of 2 million cedis. This is just to make an entrance, just for primaries. He hasn't spoken about main election. Expressing concern about the escalating financial demands in elections, he called for a careful examination of the situation, warning that without interference, the situation could get worse. I like this guy. When you interview him, he's always reasonable. He's not excessively partisan. Well, his people rejected him at the primaries level, but some of the things he's saying, we have to take very seriously. 2 million cedis is a lot of money, Sky.
Yeah, it is. Except that I think that the story, it's light on the essence of what he said yesterday. I mean, basically confirming that monies were paid.
Yes, monies are paid.
Monies are
Yeah,
paid.
right. I mean,
He's talking in a
his-
general term.
Yeah, that's fine. But in specific reference to his
yes.
primary elections, he said that monies were paid to party people basically before the elections, which is clearly inconsistent with our law. So I believe the story ought to have, of course, journalists have different ideas about how they angle stories.
So what
that
angle
would
would
have
have
been a
used?
better
He
way.
said, "It's Sky. Let's not make it about Abdumako. This is a general point he's making about the cost of elections. So let's not make it look like the story is about he admitting that he bribed
No,
delegates.
see, but the point I'm making is that
Yeah.
every election costs money.
Yeah.
Now it is a question of what you use the resources for.
Well, he's saying that you need a minimum of 2 cities. So what you can do is
2 million.
2 million. You can find out what the 2 million is spent on,
You see,
and whether this is just particular to Anyao Sotom, and whether this is related to the number of delegates there are.
Bernard, and you see, everybody knows that elections cost money.
Yeah.
Now, what he said yesterday, the weight is actually on how the money is used.
Yes.
And the money is
but we
used
know
to
that the
bribe
money. Yeah,
delegates.
but we know this already.
He's saying it, he's confirming. Nobody has actually come out to confirm that X amount of money was paid.
Oh, are you saying you don't know that delegates are paid?
Let's
what are you
make
saying?
progress.
He is just giving you a figure to work with. We all know that how they do it. So I don't know where you are going with this.
This story is generalized to the extent that it applies only to, yes, we need money for elections. But how do you use the money?
They give it to delegates.
Is it in the story?
Yeah.
Or you are
He
inferring?
mentioned 1,500 delegates. And he said the 2 million is an entrance fee. So the inference is that they pay delegates.
No, you can't make that inference. See, the man spoke expressly.
But did
So
he
let's
say
quote
that
him.
he paid delegates?
Yes, you listen to the interview.
That he gave the money to delegates?
Listen to the interview.
Are you?
Yes, I listened to the interview.
Rewrite the
yesterday.
story.
Heads of state institutions to be hauled before Parliament. That's according to the Speaker, also in connection with the standing orders amended. But there's a story that I want to draw to your attention. You know, yesterday there was a gory accident on the Accra-Pokwasi highway, and a number of people died. Now, the good news is that the truck driver has been arrested, and we hope that the driver will be dealt with according to the law. Now, page 2 of the final newspaper has the story and says the driver of the truck involved in a crash yesterday with a Sprinter bus around the China Mall stretch of the Amasaman Road has been arrested by the police. Now, the driver's mate, who sustained injuries and was referred to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital here at Ridge for medical attention, did not go to the hospital.
Okay.
Now, on Monday, February 5, 2024, a road crash involving a tipper truck and a Sprinter bus occurred around the China Mall stretch of the Amasaman Road. And we're told that some 7 or so people have been killed as a result. And you know, what is disturbing for me is that that stretch of road, it's not like a super highway of some kind. The road is in a terrible condition. Now, as to how a truck would be running at
That's such a speed.
exactly has to kill
To be
so
able
many
to kill 7 people. It's a serious
troubling.
situation.
It's
Yeah.
troubling. And they must
Nathan.
get to the bottom of it.
All right, page 3 of the Ghanaian publisher. Excuse me. Now, the vice president today will speak at the UPSA Kofi Ohene Konedu Auditorium of the school. Now, the lecture is themed Ghana's Next Chapter, Selfless Leadership and Bold Solutions for the Future. Now, lots of people are very expectant, and we wait to see what the vice president will tell us.
All right.
I'm getting from the grapevine that the pet project we've been dealing with, the vice president will be.
He
having
better.
some issue.
He
Yes.
better.
Yeah. Now, rethink emissions levy. This is one of the issues that he should be also be dealing with this morning. Now, Kizito Kujo reporting for the BNFT says this morning that there is an urgent need to reconsider and redesign actually the emissions levy 2023 Act 1112, which took effect on February 1, 2024, if it is to fulfill its intended purpose. This is according to the co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, Dr. Steve Mantiao. Now, to start with, Dr. Mantiao, a civil society activist and energy advocate, raised concerns over the insufficient consultation processes that surrounded implementation of the latest carbon tax, highlighting that one major drawback remains the lack of equity structures. Now, equity in taxation is deemed essential to ensure a balanced sharing of the burden among those responsible for carbon emissions. But Dr. Mantiel notes that it is not exactly.
Online, citinewsroom.com. I never plotted to overthrow Akufo-Addo's government. ACP Agojo, who's Assistant Commissioner of Police, who was recently acquitted in the trial of the coup plotters, has vehemently denied allegations of plotting to overthrow the Akufo-Addo government, refuting claims he had discussion with anyone for such a purpose. In an interview on Face to Face on Citi TV, ACP Agojo emphasized that the accusations were false and clarified his interaction with Dr. Frederick Almapam and other accused persons. He also said in the interview that his rights were violated. He was stripped naked. He says that he's recounted the mistreatment he faced while he was kept at the National Intelligence Bureau, formerly the BNI, cells after his arrest, with others for allegedly plotting to overthrow the government. He escaped a death sentence, decried the maltreatment by officials of NIB, stating that his human rights were heavily violated. He also says that his woes were caused by Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwo, who he accused of orchestrating his arrest. He alleged that Nitiwo initiated his arrest after he disclosed knowledge of Dr. Makpam on a WhatsApp platform and expressed his opinions on civil unrest and the Arab Spring. He claims Nitiwo reposted his previous comments on civil unrest with added words suggesting he must be brought to order, leading to his arrest. It's a very, very troubling interview to listen to. And, the court has acquitted him. Let's come to, the angle of the Bawumia story that the Herald takes is quite interesting.
Okay, so the Herald says that some associates or some people in Dr. Bawumia's camp are very worried. Now, the reports picked up by the Herald indicate a growing sense of dissatisfaction within the camp of the NPP, of the NPP's Dr. Bawumia regarding the policies implemented by the government. Okay. Now, the key figures include some of his handlers, Mr. Fred Owari, Dr. Gideon Boaku, and others, and they are displeased with the rising hostilities between the government and the NPP leadership. Now, the heightened tensions have been fueled by all sorts of things, including the emissions levy, VAT on electricity, and all of those things. And Dr. Bawumia's camp is very worried that it could hamper their campaign.
Okay, finally, though, we are told the National Rental Assistance Scheme is a novel initiative to make renting accessible for all. And thus far, some 1,492 beneficiaries have been recorded, and a total of 19 million Ghana cedis disbursed to them. The details are on page 9 of the Ghanaian Times, and if you are interested, please grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times for that. We're told that out of 9,424 applicants, Accra had the highest number of beneficiaries of 903, Kumasi with 257, and Takoradi 160. And then 147 in Kufuibia.
Thank you, Richard Sky. Thank you, Nathan Kwao. That's all we have time for. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.